I flew to Rome to challenge one of my subscribers to a match, but what I thought would be a fun, lighthearted video turned into an absolute battle. What is up, you tennis nuts? Welcome to Rome, and more specifically, welcome to Società Ginnastica Roma. I tried that like 100 times, but look at this club. It's one of the oldest clubs in Italy, built in 1890. And what makes this place special, besides having absolutely gorgeous red clay courts, is that all the courts are surrounded by these Aurelian walls, which were originally built in 275 AD, which is a year that my small lizard brain cannot physically comprehend. That things even existed back then. But let's get into the tennis. No more history. I am the last person you need to learn history from. Today is our first day at Ginnastica Roma, and it's just a practice day. So this was the day before my challenge match, trying to get myself comfortable on the red clay. Because to be honest, I do not want to lose to a subscriber. As much as I love you guys, I take these matches maybe more seriously than actual tournaments. Which, of course, is a joke. I'm kidding. Of course, I'm joking. Okay, let's get into the topic of today's practice, which is forehands. And nobody knows more about having a bad forehand than me. I've spent my entire career haunted by the ghost of a forehands past, which I don't even know what that means, and it sounds right. I've missed a lot of forehands in matches. So, let's go through the 3 changes I've made recently that seem to be helping out the fear hand. First of which is keeping my left hand on or with the racket until the ball bounces on my side, which does a lot of different things. Forces me to do a unit turn, it keeps me from pulling out of the shot too soon, it keeps me more balanced, but just in general, this is something I've heard for years, and it's finally starting to make a difference, or I'm finally smart enough to actually do it. But if you're struggling with timing, I would highly recommend you try that, and if it goes wrong, you can blame me. Okay, number 2 on our list is opening up my stance when I step into the forehand. I'm someone who generally struggles with spacing on the forehand side. I think that's probably normal for your weaker side. So by opening up my stance, just using a little bit more of a semi-open when I step in, it helps me a lot to create that space and get my racket and hips through the ball. I would say if you struggle with spacing, this is definitely something to try, and I'd love for you to blame me if it goes wrong. And number 3, always trying to get my body weight going at my target. And for me, this has been the most helpful of anything actually in matches. So the other things have helped me a lot in practice. I would say this is something I rely on a lot in matches when my forehand doesn't feel good. And the idea that my coach always tells me is it's easier to control your body than your racket when you're nervous. So trying to send your body at your target has just been a really simple way for me to think about it and gets me moving forward into the ball. But that's more than enough education for today. I'm exhausted. Let's get into the challenge match, Cole versus a subscriber. Thanks a lot, Cole, and welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of Cole doing something weird on camera. Today, Cole is playing a subscriber in a challenge match. Yeah, Jim, he must be one of the most financially irresponsible people on planet Earth, flying to Rome to make this video, but you know what? You don't have to be smart to make YouTube videos, that's for sure. You got that right, Jim, and one thing we know for sure about Cole is that he's got absolutely no brain cells. Cole's opponent today is Justin Roberts. Reached out to Cole on Instagram and said, hey Cole, I'll beat your if you fly to Rome. So it seems like Cole took him up on that, and here we are playing next to the Coliseum. Yeah, Jim, couldn't be more surprised to find out that Cole has actual fans, but seems like these boys are about ready to go, so let's get this match started. 0-0, love, but there's no love on this court, is there, Jim? All right, we'll pass it down to our correspondent on the court, Mr. Cole Schultz. All right, what's up, you tennis nuts? You know, when you make videos all day, I guess you start to lose your mind, you get a little bit bored and create fictional commentators to intro and host your match. I don't know, maybe I need to see a therapist. Let's go through this. We're gonna do something new. So every time that I play these matches now, I wanna go through the video for the first time when I record. So this is gonna be the first time I've watched this match since playing, and I think that'll give a more kind of genuine response, or for me a genuine reaction to like, hey, this is what's happening in the match, here's what I think I did well, here's what I think should be different. And right off the bat I can tell you I was extremely nervous to play this match. Way more nervous than I expected, actually. I think I got a little lucky. Justin gave me a couple early errors, and so I did get up a break 1-0. But, you know, there's a difference between being up and feeling like you're winning the match. I don't know if that makes sense or not. This match, I never felt completely comfortable. You'll see how tight this gets. I never felt settled in the whole match. I don't know if it was the red clay. I don't know if it's the fact that Justin was making a ton of balls, or if it's me just being nervous, but it's one of those matches where the entire time I felt like it was not in hand, no matter what the score was. And I think a big part of that is the serve. My serve never really clicked on this day. My knee was bothering me a little bit, and when I'm not serving well, it's like the rest of my game sort of stalls a little bit, right? It's like I'm not getting those free points. I'm having to work a little bit more, and I wouldn't say I'm known for my baseline rally abilities, at least not according to Coach Ruan. So when I'm not serving well, it sort of puts me in this mindset of like maybe trying to do a little bit too much from the back of the court, and that's pretty stressful. But I'm just kind of getting away with it, you know, when I'm playing. When I'm not serving well, like this match, it feels like I'm sort of having to steal points because I'm not really playing my style. That's one thing we'll talk about as this set goes on, is me and Ruan are really starting to try to define the style that I'm playing with so I can be really clear. I feel like when I step on court with better players, whether it's Ruan, whether it's some of these touring pros that I get to practice with, one of the things that stands out to me the most is the clarity they have with the style they're trying to play. It seems like they never try to overplay with their weakness. They know exactly what their strengths are and how they want to use them. And I feel like, and people, you let me know in the comments, I feel like when I play, it's just sort of like a mess a little bit, right? It's like I don't know exactly what I'm trying to do. My backhand's a little bit stronger than my forehand, but I try to open points up with my forehand. I serve pretty well, but not to the point where I'm holding serve constantly, so I kind of always have that pressure in the back of my head, like if I get broken, I need to be able to break serve. So that's one thing I really want to work on here in the next couple months is clarity, 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 being as specific as I can when I walk on the court. Like, this is my plan A. And then if it doesn't work, of course, you can adjust, and you'll see in this set I have to adjust. But this is my plan A. When it doesn't work, I can make adjustments, but I know exactly what I'm trying to do before I start each point. Whether or not I can actually do that, you know, that's another story, but at least having a clear idea of what I want to do. I will say one thing this match made me realize is that my movement and my legs are finally starting to adjust back to playing more. Sliding around on the red clay kind of proved to me that my body is moving in the right direction. For the first couple months back playing, it felt like I was, I don't know, living on a knife's edge every time I was practicing. Like my knees, my ankles, all my joints were like hanging on for dear life after 3 years off. But, you know, I felt great on the clay. I really had fun when I left these courts thinking like, dang, I need to play on European red clay more. Not because I'm any good at it. I'm honestly pretty awful on it, but it's so fun, and I think it does force you to play a new style. Okay, but we're getting into the match now, and that point right there, that backhand winner, now that I watch it again, I feel like was a turning point. That was the point where I realized like, oh, this guy is awake, and I'm going to need to start to do a little bit more with the ball. And you see a couple points in a row, I'm like moving to my backhand corner, he's hitting the ball deep, and trust me, in the match, you know, you can feel the momentum shift. This ball right here, that forehand winner, I was like, oh, I've basically given away the momentum. And all of a sudden now it's like, okay, this is a real match, which is definitely a problem that I have. I can't remember if I've talked about it before, but I feel like one of the big issues that I have mentally is that when I get up, my brain relaxes too much, right? Like I'm not finishing the set, or if I win the first set, I'm not finishing the match. And even in games, like I get up 40-15, 40-love, too often those games are coming to deuce. So one thing me and Ruan have talked about a lot is like the first opportunity you have to close. If it's 40-love in the game, if it's you're up 3-love in a set, like locking down as this is my only opportunity to win the set, not giving them a chance to get back in. Because I've basically created scoreboard pressure for myself, right? I was up 3-1 comfortably, had points to go up 4-1, and a couple of errors, maybe a couple of points where I'm not really locked in, and all of a sudden I'm adding stress to my game, which does for sure make you play worse. Like an error like that, right? That's a completely mental error. I'm so far up in the point that I'm just letting it go. And almost here again the same. It's like I'm so far in the point I try to do something silly with the forehand slice. Just being a little bit more decisive at the end of points, the end of games, I think would make my life a lot easier. And this right here, I remember now, this was like the turning point for me mentally. I missed a couple forehands in a row in the net. Let's see. Yeah, another forehand. And at this point, I realized, I'm like, I'm on red clay. I'm not getting anything out of my ball, and I'm making a ton of errors. This is when it's time to make an adjustment, or I need to make an adjustment. And so right away from 4-all, I started adding a ton of height, a ton of shape to my ball, as you can see, and instant change. Right? I start getting errors right away, start getting easier short balls, and I think that's one thing that I haven't really mastered yet. Me and Ruan talk about a lot though, is like those in-match adjustments with the type of ball you're trying to hit. It's not like you need to completely change your strategy. Maybe you're playing what like playing into their backhand is working, but just adding a little bit of height on one ball and then maybe a slice and then playing through the court. You're kind of just adding some variety with the shot type, and all of a sudden you're going to earn an easier short ball. I think a lot of times if I'm just blasting the ball, I'm almost playing people into form. Right? I'm hitting like 4 or 5 strong ground strokes, and after those 4 or 5, I'm kind of giving rhythm to my opponent because I'm just playing the same ball. And even here, 5-4, this match is not in like a great, I don't feel great about it. So these points right here where I'm just playing with a little bit more shape, kind of earning some errors, I think those are really important points for me to kind of learn, like, hey, you don't need to force the issue all the time hitting a winner. Just by changing the shot type, you can be aggressive. And that's it. I did end up getting through the set, 6-4, but shout out to Justin. I mean, I don't know about you, I would not have the balls to say to someone, hey, let's do a practice match and you can put it on YouTube. So good on him. Thank you again to Gymnastic Aroma for having me. This place was unbelievable, and thanks of course to you guys for watching. I'm trying to do more YouTube videos. I'm trying to get better at it, so I appreciate you sticking in it with me.